Salute. Knicks streets. We're buzzing as the Knicks snap their 3-game losing streak and hand the Chicago Bulls their first loss of the season, man. This one's going to be a fun one tonight as we got a close to a complete performance, man. A bounce back of epic proportions. And we're going to hear from you guys, shout you guys out, give out a game ball, give out the grades in this one as Jordan Clarkson has arrived. Josh Hart had his best performance of the season, and Jalen Brunson 31-point explosion where he was dominant early in this ball game and start to finish. Welcome in to the post-game live with the New York Knicks win 128 to 116, and they go 3-3 on the season now as we start a 6-game homestand, and we're back at it tomorrow night against Washington. Welcome in, guys. Hope you're doing well, fam. Bless up to everyone in here. We've got a poll in tonight's chat, fam. How do the Knicks build on this win, this performance, right? How do we best build on this, man? Let us know your thoughts in the poll. Vote right now. Replay squad, salute. Everyone in the building, smash that like button. OG Anunoby was savage tonight, fam. Jordan Clarkson, excellent performance. That's why we signed him. And it's great to see Josh Hart. And we're going to preview a new segment in tonight's stream, fam, in the spotlight, right? We're going to get the coaches chat, the grades, give out the game ball, and we're going to look at the new segment in the spotlight, man. Who's in the spotlight? And we're going to talk about that. But roll call, Chris Tendrell, salute, Daniel, Ernest, what's good, Prezi the boss, Johnny Chiba. Great to see everyone coming through the building. Look, I think Mitchell Robinson, obviously second game back, he looked better tonight. So honorable mention for Mitchie. But defensively, you know, it was night and day. Obviously some home cooking, 3-game losing streak. The Knicks needed to correct that, and they came out. They showed a lot of grit. Josh Giddey was dominant again for the Chicago Bulls. I mean, he's a handful with his size and playmaking ability. But the New York Knicks, man, I think obviously they got comfortable from a rhythm perspective downtown, absolutely on fire from downtown, but they were awesome looks. They were great looks. Preseason kind of basketball. The ball was moving really sharp. The Knicks were getting stops as well, fueling their offense. And that was the main catalyst. But some really good individual performances, man. Jalen Brunson was phenomenal early, right? And he's going to get the game ball in this one. 31 points, Jalen Brunson. He really set the tone. It was a scrappy first quarter where the Knicks did need to grit it out and get that separation. In the second quarter, that separation came, I think, as Brunson was sitting, actually, Jordan Clarkson, really gave the Knicks a solid punch. But in regards to Brunson's stat line, fam, it's the efficiency, 45% from the field, 36% from downtown, 7 of 7, 100% from the free throw. And the Knicks as a team were 22 out of 22, 100% from the free throw line. And Brunson had 5 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals, +5, and only 2 fouls with the 31 points to go with that, fam. So 1 game ball for tonight, and it goes to the captain who laid down the gauntlet early, fam. Ernest says, now, these are the Knicks that I know. Salute. Get your popcorn, get your cup ready. It's going to be a good one tonight, fam. We can talk about a really great performance. Chris Gotti says, captain set the tone early. Yep, you're already on point. Tendrell with a nice stat. The Knicks are undefeated at home. Keep it up. 3 losses on the road, 3 wins at home, fam. Home cooking. Tendrell, I like it. I like it, fam. And obviously we're going to give out these grades and talk about some difference makers, fam, as we're going to look at a new segment in tonight's show, in the spotlight, fam. who's been in the spotlight coming in, man? It was Mike Brown, a lot of talk about Thibodeau. We'll get into that and get your thoughts. Josh Hart was very much in the spotlight heading into tonight's game, man. And he answered a lot of questions to say that, hey, I ain't washed. Yes, I'm hurt. Yes, I'm banged up. But yes, I can still play, ladies and gentlemen. So Josh Hart reminding some people, and myself included, right? I never wrote Hart off, but I just felt like, man, what we were seeing just wasn't Josh Hart. But he answered a lot of those doubts tonight, and it's good to see that he can still be, I mean, hella efficient and effective. And last but not least, we're going to talk about JC. Jordan Clarkson has arrived, ladies and gentlemen. So with that said, as I roll some more highlights and shout you guys out, tonight's poll in the chat is option number 1: how to best build on this win. Right, Mike Brown shortened that rotation with less Yabusele and no Tyler Kolek, right? So should Mike Brown tighten up that rotation is option number 1 and keep it sharp. 9-man, basically 9.5 tonight. Second option is keep taking those threes. Ladies and gentlemen, the Knicks were on fire from downtown. They hit 20 of 42, a 47% performance from downtown, which is big time, and it's been a constant theme throughout the season so far. A Mike Brown staple, there we say. So that is option number 2. Just keep those threes flying. Third option is Mitch is getting loose, and that's the key. Defensively, we're a lot better tonight, and obviously without Mitch at the 5, who did play limited minutes, but I mean, he helps everyone else kind of stay in their rotations. He provides that deterrent and stopping some of those drives that Josh Giddey was getting. Fam, David Dem in the building, Shez V, Michael Drake, salute Demario, and I salute Building Block, says, not yes, keep it at the 9-man rotation. And last but not least, the fourth option on how to best build on this, and I want to include Hart. I put Clarkson has arrived, but Clarkson and Josh Hart have arrived, and that is our bench, ladies and gentlemen. The New York Knicks won't go anywhere this season without their bench showing up like it did tonight. Less Yabusele, less Kolek, but big-time performances from Jordan Clarkson, Miles McBride, and Landry Shamet, Josh Hart, fam. The Knicks got 40-plus points off the bench, which is huge, absolutely huge. What did we get? We got 46%, 46 points off our bench. So that is huge. So I think that's key, to continue to build on this. But look, obviously you're not going to shoot as well as we did from downtown every single night, but defensively we were much more active and gritty as the New York Knicks moved that ball as well. 31 assists as a team, 7 steals, 5 blocks was really good. Mitchell Robinson with the 2 blocks in 13 minutes, just letting people know what he is capable of doing. Chris Gotti on how many minutes Yabu played. He played only 2 minutes, fam. So short leash, and I think that was key. And I like what Mike Brown's doing because you've got to learn. Don't be afraid to have a seat, do some learning, some coaching. And I think Yabusele will be a major part of our season, but you got to manage game to game still. You can't let that slip. Johnny Chiba says, I think Hart was hurting in the previous games. I felt his heart was in it this game for the first time. His rebounding is incredible. And yeah, great point, Johnny. I think getting back home is key. 3-game road trip early in the season against some tough, gritty teams. And I did want to bring this point up that if there is a silver lining in the 3 losses is that Miami, Milwaukee, and Chicago were all top 4 teams heading into tonight's ball game, right? So we weren't losing to no stiffs. We were losing to 3 teams that were in the top 4, and it's a brand new season. as well. So uh, you never want to lose, but at the same time, I think we're finding out a lot about this season and around the league. Um, and look, like Tendrell said, uh, yet to lose a game at home, and we want to keep that up. We want to keep that fortress up this season, right? Rack up, 35 plus wins at home, hopefully plus more, ladies and gentlemen. So welcome in to the post game live. Get your thoughts and comments in. We shout it out, and please hit that like button. It really helps the channel out and keep the lights on and keep everybody buzzing. OG Ananobi was a plus 22, like Tendrell says. And OG Ananobi really, I think he took that matchup personally tonight, fam. As I really liked the minutes allocation. Macau only played 34, OG 34. Cat, we'll get on to Cat. I thought he was really good as well with the 15 rebounds, 15 grown man rebounds. I think he controlled the paint. Did Karl Anthony Towns. 100% from downtown as well. OG, 3 of 7 from downtown was awesome. And cleaning up those points at the free throw line is what we want to see. You don't want to, leave any of those points at the line. Demario says it was a great win. Go Knicks. Salute CT. Prezi the boss says 007, 00C Clarkson finally showed up and Heart of the City rejoined the squad. Yeah, we keep the vibes up, but Hart, the vibes have been down recently, and I think he answered a lot of critics tonight. He took the match up personally, and I just felt like we needed to set the tone early, and we did. As Jordan Clarkson hit 11 points in 6 minutes, and his spark in the second quarter was key. It was Emmanuel Quickly like, when we were kind of those days where we were devoid of scoring. Brunson's down and seated on the bench, and we needed some buckets. And Jordan Clarkson got into a rhythm, man. He got into an out-of-body experience, and it's just great to see Clarkson have his best game as a Knick early in the season. Some questions were being asked about, last year's squad with campaign. Now we have Clarkson in here, and he really established himself now firmly. I like his grittiness on defense. He does struggle against some guys with the extra size, as most people do. But the thing about Clarkson that I like defensively is he can actually stay in front of his man. And that was where we got killed against the Bulls in the last one, where nobody could just stay in front of someone. And I think Clarkson, he was, not afraid to really, take a hit in the chops. He was staying in front of people and he was knocking down those shots as well at MSG. So long may that continue and we keep it up, fam. The lone disappointment you'd have to say is the Yabusele situation. It does bear watching closely. I think he's going to get it together, David. But great comment here. Good bounce back. And look, I do think that Yabusele just has to find his role in the team. I think the scoring ain't there right now. He needs to get into the game in other ways, rebound, throw his weight around. I mean, if you're a big man, throw that weight around and make a big impact on the glass. Yabusele, hopefully he can trim down a bit as the season progresses, but I think Mike Brown shortening that rotation was key as well for guys to get into that rhythm. Because a lot of y'all were saying, with that said, the bigger rotation might have been the reason that some of the guys weren't hitting their rhythm yet. The substitutions for Mike Brown, they've been quick, in, out. And I think he's just kind of letting guys cook a bit better tonight. So a great coached performance, I think, from Mike Brown and just the squad as a whole. Bench starters, Mitch, and new guys coming back as well, starting to show what they can do. Defensively, a real, big standout from OG Ananobi with the 2 steals, the block, and a plus 22, man. That's our $41 million man right there is OG Ananobi. These are the performances that we've come to expect from OG, turning that water off, when the other guys are getting loose. So I think that was key as well. And obviously Jalen Brunson, man, setting that tone early. Chance says, is Yabu cooked? I think it's early to to determine that personally. I want to see more of Yabusele, but it's clear he ain't having the impact that I expected or hoped. But it is early days, and I think the leaders of the squad got to find ways to get him going. And also, look, I will throw this in there, fam. We do have a back-to-back tomorrow as I pull up the schedule. So is it smart, clever management by Mike Brown, or was he just thinking, get the win tonight? But nevertheless, I think it is a benefit that some of these guys didn't play much because we've got a feisty, young, physical Washington team that's going to come in tomorrow and try to run us out of the gym, knowing that we were, first of a back-to-back. So, look, today meaned a lot to get the win, but it don't mean too much if we don't get the win tomorrow, right? You see this homestand, 6 games now. Actually, seven-game homestand. I correct myself because it ends with Miami at home, the second NBA Cup game, fam, on Friday the 14th. But now we have 6 more home games coming up after tonight, and this is where we really need to start to pick up steam, is what I'm looking at, guys. How are you seeing it? Fam, you guys are on fire tonight, representing on our 3rd win of the season, getting back to 500. But to me, it was all about revenge tonight. Yeah, I love the free throws, Chris. Jose G, salute. Let's go. Tendrell says Giddy is a legit problem. Yeah, I think he's a classic case, fam, of being patient. OKC wanted that chip early. The move paid off for them, but it's definitely paying off for the Bulls, fam. 23 years old, only drafted as an 18-year-old. And I'm looking at our own backyard situation with Pacome Dardier, who's only 19. Right, it takes some time for some of these guys, and I think that's one of the reasons we need to be patient with Diawara, with Pacome, McCullough, and those guys. On the Pacome front, we do have the news to bring to you guys that Pacome Dardier's option for next season has been picked up by the organization too, and I was happy to hear that. Now, he might get traded, he might not, hopefully not. But, the New York Knicks are clearly still invested, so that is the key. And he looked quite happy on the bench today, man, getting that extra couple of milli picked up and guaranteed, fam. What a great day when you're 19 years old and you have a couple of extra $1 million guaranteed. So some guys got some garbage time late, but it's all about the future, I think, with Pacome Dardier. Some great points here from David and Johnny Chiba on Yabu. Yabu might be hurt. Yeah, he did sprain his knee, and it might be something that's limiting him, I think, with the extra weight. Like Johnny Chiba said, sprained big knee with the big man is a major problem. Let us know your play of the game tonight, fam. I must admit, just optically, that OG fast break where it was a foul, but he just said, get out of my way. And he shoved Trey Jones to the deck, fam, and absolutely murdered him. It was a bully play, and it was a tomahawk throwdown from OG Anunoby. That was my play of the game, and we'll take a look at that one. But here you see Clarkson got the big man out on the perimeter and capitalized with that one. So one half of our major additions in the offseason with Clarkson, he's up and running. We just got to get Yabusele up and running. And if not, we'll see who Mike Brown might turn to. Does he turn to a Diawara? Does he turn to Pacome? Does he turn to a McCullough at some point? Tosan or Trey Jemison? But so far, I think Yabu will stay in that rotation. But I do think that the jury is still out. It is early in the season, and he's got to have a breakout game, I think, to start to feel comfortable. Now, with this one regarding Jordan Clarkson, I think he's going to take this performance and he's going to run, and he's going to continue to play like this. It's only the 6th game of the season. new system, new city, new environment, new teammates, and a lot of expectations. And I think Jordan Clarkson, has put in some okay performances defensively, but offensively, you needed to see a statement, type performance like this. And I agree with David's comment here. 9-man just seems to be that sweet spot. And maybe I did overlook the fact that guys need to build chemistry with each other, fam. And I do have to correct myself because I was lobbying for an 11-man rotation early in the season, just for the pure fact that guys can get loose and get going now and get out those those kinks and get the reps up before the playoffs. But I did overlook the fact that it's a new squad with a new system, David, and guys need to get their chemistry going too. So great comment there. Dermot says strong team effort after that flop in the last one. Man, the Wolves would have been out. The Knives would have been out if they didn't come out and and have a statement type performance. But I don't want to go as far as to say it was a must win so early in the season, but it was definitely bordering on that. Fam, and you got to be locked in early. And as I said, you can't be taking teams for granted because before you know it, you could be 4-10. And you're in a little bit of a hole. Early in the season. Unfortunately, we're not in that. We correct the ship like we hope. We're 3-3 now. Now let's put the foot on the gas, right? And really start to get some separation. As we will take a look around the league, some major games to look at, fam. We had Cleveland in action, defeat the Hawks. So they start to get their season going. The 76ers are up and going. They looking good so far. The Raptors are punishing the Grizzlies as well. The Thunder continue to roll. We'll take a look at the standings as well. But it's important. It's really important that the Knicks got the win tonight, and I'm buzzing as well with everyone else in the building. Salute rocking out tonight. Now we had a story drop mid-game. Fred Katz of The Athletic says Josh Hart is dealing with a nerve injury in the hand, and we know that he was dealing with the finger, but it apparently affects the fourth finger on the shooting hand. The feeling is going in and out of the middle finger and the pinky fingers. But Hart, man, what a warrior tonight. So I really want to give plenty of shine for Josh Hart right now and tonight. 5 of 10, finished 1 of 4 from downtown, hit a 3 ball, and he definitely is feeling a lot better. Was attacking the rack, finished with 9 rebounds, man, 3 offensive, 3 assists, a steal, and 14 points off the bench in just 26 minutes. So I said heading into the season, I do think Hart is going to benefit from playing less minutes. And I think this is one of those games where you could take that to the bank. It does nobody no good if he's playing 38 minutes, if he's banged up. And I think with Hart playing less minutes under Mike Brown, that health situation is going to get better. Right? I don't think it's going to get worse. So I think that is the positive to take away from the Josh Hart situation. Now, if this was a Thibodeau team, he probably would be playing still 30 plus minutes, and that ain't going to help him out in the long run. As we see some small tensions early in the ball game tonight, just guys trying to get on the same page. Mikal Bridges, I like to see his feistiness, right? The teammates didn't get back in transition. As you see the score, 10-10, and the Bulls looked like they were starting to get loose. Mikal Bridges let his teammates know that ain't going to fly defensively. And you see Deuce McBride there as words were exchanged between OG Anunoby and Mikal Bridges. But it don't look no disrespect there. It's all respectful. It's just a case of guys letting each other know, man, championship expectations. Get your ass back in transition and help us defend, as the Bulls got a simple layup in that one. Now, did we see this last season? You guys let me know. Under Thibodeau, I think we're seeing a lot more leadership from Mikal Bridges when it comes to speaking his piece. Um, and look, he spoke up in press conferences last season, but I really like, holding each other accountable. Um, you know, salute to Optimus too. G Russell in the building. Um, Jose says Hart showed up with grit tonight. Yeah, I think this season they know what's at stake, and I think you kind of need to get woken up. Maybe slapped in the mouth, like we did with the third loss early, and it looks like we're woken up right now. So I'm looking forward to seeing this team really move up a gear now, and hopefully we'll see tomorrow night back at MSG and this 7-game homestand. Now, respect to Chicago, they're in a great situation, 5-1, and their offense really reminds me of Indiana-like offense, where they're tough to guard because you don't know where the points are going to come from on each possession. Now, you know who's going to put up the bulk of the points, but on each possession, they're very unpredictable. It could be a giddy spin move, drive to the lane. It could be a kick out three. It could be a Vucevic pick and pop. It could be a Buzelis finish at the rim acrobatic. Kevin Herter was hurting us early with the pull-ups. Buzelis is only going to get better as well. So this was a good test, and the Knicks answered the call like they should have, obviously, with the expectations, fam. Yeah, great record when we have 30 plus assists, Chris. Great one with that. 31 dimes tonight. And look, that's by far been one of the most positives under Mike Brown. Now, we might have to sacrifice a couple of wins and losses, but so far, so good under Mike Brown, in my opinion. I think it is going to take an adjustment. I'm not longing for Tibbs to return or anything like that. It's way too early. I like what I'm seeing purely from a coaching standpoint. I do think the players, though, need to wear a lot of, a lot of responsibility in how this season plays out, right? Right. We do have a new coach, yes, but most of the roster is returning. So I think it is a cop out to suggest that Mike Brown is a scapegoat or Tibbs, this and that. I do think the players have a lot of responsibility this season. Uh, you know, they can see the open man, move the ball. They can choose whether they want to run back in transition and help defend, and also help each other out. And I think they played as a team tonight. Uh, the last post game, I said the Bulls look like a more cohesive team as a unit, and tonight I think we looked like a better cohesive unit. I think as a team, and of course the glue guy, the nucleus, Josh Hart, came in the thick of it, and that's no surprise to me. Now I really like the possessions with Jordan Clarkson together with Karl Anthony Towns and together with Jalen Brunson. And I did think that gave us another offensive spark. So that is the key. As I think these three guys were the main guys into the spotlight heading into tonight's ball game. I think, in my opinion, I think we needed to see Clarkson really step up and help the bench production, and he did that. We also got a Hart game as well to go with that, fam. So that is awesome to see. Question from David here. CT, do you think Hart should get that hand surgery? I don't want to lose him in the playoffs. David, I think I'm going to trust the medical staff. Hart specifically, I wouldn't trust. I do think it just needs to be on the medical people. If he can play through it, then and there's a kind of a feeling that it could get better as the season goes with less minutes, then I think that's probably the preferred option. Second option is obviously get the surgery if it's untenable and it's just hurting too much. But the way he played tonight, it did prove, David, that he can be Josh Hart that we know and can be so impactful. And so I would say probably, wait and see. Let's wait maybe another 5 to 10 more games. And I guess it all depends on the timeline as well. We had some great footage pre-game from Chris P of clutch points with Mitchell Robinson working out with Mark Bryant, the big man coach, working on the low post too. So, as I said at the top of the show, Mitch's only second game back of the season. And I think in a small sample with the 2 blocks in the 13 minutes, I think defensively we can go up several gears once Mitchell Robinson, gets up to speed um, with that. I do think, yeah, Mitch is a guy that, is the most important player for us defensively, right? Cat minutes at the 5, we all know what the outcome is going to be in the long run. And obviously we got Huck, we got Trey Jemison, but they're less proven. So Mitchell Robinson is so key to our defense, right? Obviously, so is OG Anunoby. And I thought this was an absolute statement performance from OG. Mouse in the house had Trey Jones, man, put him in the weight room and says, get down low, fam. Bullied him under the basket, and much better OG performance, I think, than the last one. And you love to see when he's aggressive. I think our offense just goes to another level. Salute to Glenn J. What's good? Glad we bounced back. We know it's going to take 20 games or so to get on the same page. We have to temper our emotions. And very wise and rational thoughts, fam. Glenn, I like that take. Yeah, everyone wants to compare Mike Brown from Tibbs. They want to write Josh Hart off. There is a right to be a certain level of concern, no doubt about it. But it's so early in the season. I just think I think it was a combination, fam, of Chicago getting off to a hot start, us slipping in the standings, and kind of the blood pressure and the hype getting up with the fan base. But a lot of wins will obviously quieten that down. And I do think we're in a great situation now where we can build on this with less minutes and wear and tear on our bodies, fam. Now, we tend to finish the season strong under Thibodeau playing heavy minutes. So my expectation is we're going to finish this season in a blaze of glory with guys playing less minutes than last season. In the long run, it is going to help Jalen Brunson out. Now, he gets a game ball, statement performance, and only plays 32 minutes. So that could be one of the best positives out of tonight's game. 10 of 22, 31 points on an effortless performance, 36% from downtown, and 7 free throws, ladies and gentlemen. So we all know under Tibbs that this would have been a must-win game, and he would have played Jalen Brunson 36, 38, 40 minutes. And Brunson got a game ball and played 32 minutes as well. So that's big time, ladies and gentlemen. We have some other news that I noticed. Trae Young is going to be out for 4 weeks with an MCL. So that is going to limit Atlanta's momentum. So let us know what you think about that, guys. As we have a super chat here from my guy Yuri. Salute to Yuri. I knew you'd come through tonight. Yuri says Mike Brown saw Yabu not playing well, went to Hart, Clarkson, and Deuce, along with Mitch. And I would not be surprised if that will be the rotation. 100% agree, Yuri. I do think that I actually said it last post game. I said Yabusele, and some guys said in the comments too. I don't know about benching guys, which is what I said. But what I meant was, I don't mean, throw Yabu in the doghouse. If guys aren't performing this season, they simply need to have a seat for a moment until they can get their rhythm together and let someone else, step up and get some rhythm. So with Yuri saying that Clarkson, Hart, Deuce, along with Mitch, won't be surprised. And I think that was a really good look with those guys. I like Clarkson's willingness to see the open man too. And I'm going to hold him accountable for that because I do think that Clarkson can be an underrated passer as well. We all know that Hart generally gets the ball moving as well And so with Deuce McBride and Mitch, I think that's going to be a nice blend of defense, offense too. Uh, Maybe some worries about spacing, but if they are playing fast and they're getting stops, I don't think that'll be too much of a worry. Because a lot of our good looks came from stops, right? It don't matter if you have the best spacing unit out there. If you're constantly picking the ball out of the basket, you're not going to be able to get out and run. And man, we saw some great moments from Mitch Yuri in terms of early going 13 minutes, 2 blocks, and a performance that he can build on. Did tweak the ankle, and I do think that once Mitch gets that steady run of games, 5 to 10, 15 games in a row, hopefully without missing a game, right? Our defense is just gonna, go up a level. Macau Bridges continues his strong start to the season as well, 2 of 5 from downtown. So you love to see that as well. Uh, Now, we do got to talk about the coaches chat segment. Let us know your thoughts on Mike Brown so far, the system, any comments about rotations, and anything you would like to tweak um, as we'll take a look at the poll in tonight's chat, fam. How would you build on this win as a New York Knicks coach, right? Option number one is to shorten that rotation and tighten it up with Les Yabu and Tyler Kolek, just like what Yuri was speaking of. Second option is keep taking those threes, ladies and gentlemen. 53s tonight. The Knicks shot 46% from downtown, was huge. Option number three is Mitch getting loose is the key. And fourth is Clarkson and Josh Hart being active is the best way to build off this. 38% is leading, saying keep the rotation sharp. 9-man, less Yabu and no Tyler. 29% close behind is Clarkson has arrived as well. So you guys know how important Clarkson is, to this squad. We were missing that in those 3 losses. Mitch getting loose key is 12%, and keep taking those threes at 21%. So, yeah, great comment about campaign from Johnny Chiba. CT, I just like campaign help win games with his bench scoring. That onus is going to be on Clarkson and Deuce. When they are hot, Knicks will win. Yeah, I mentioned back in the day, fam, when Quickly, we all loved Emmanuel Quickly in those moments where he was dynamic, changing games. And I think tonight was reminiscent with Clarkson. Just a guy full of confidence in getting his shot, creating a shot, and making the defense buckle. And like you say, credit to campaign because for a vet minimum guy, like he gave us good production last season in those moments. Yeah, it was funky, it was up and down sometimes, but when he was on, man, he was on, and like we saw that tonight with Jordan Clarkson. And I guess on the plus side is Clarkson's defense, fam, is a lot better than Campaign's defense, and does provide a little bit more size as well. So Yuri says the rotations were on point. I would like to see the Knicks include Kolek, though, and the Rooks at some point in the rotation so that they get development. They got to earn it, though. Yeah, that was my thinking as well, Yuri. I was really hyped to see a 10, 11-man rotation during the regular season, and that still might come. But I just think, as we see in this graphic, it's pointing at that the leaders and the vets really find their rhythm first. And I did overlook that fact, right? Worry about the end of the bench guys. I think as the season goes along, the priority needs to be letting the veterans and the leaders get comfortable first and foremost. And we can't have a frustrated Cat. We can't have a frustrated McHale or OG, Mitchell Robinson, Brunson, Hart, and Deuce. Those are the guys that are the most important for our chances. And I think letting those guys get their rhythm first, and then I think we can figure out how to best get Yabu going, Clarkson, and some of the younger guys, like you said. But I think this Josh Hart thing is not going to go away. It is going to linger as the season goes, right? We all have good days and bad days when it comes to our health. And I guess the pleasing thing mostly, though, is that he's well and truly capable of dominating a game from the bench and letting everyone know that he is an absolute handful. Um, keeping second chance points alive, rebounds, muddying it up, and just being gritty. We do need a lot more heavy lifters, as our guy, friend of the show, Bill Daughtry, speaks about, right? Some of his concerns from last season was that OG and Hart did a lot of the dirty work, but we needed more of those guys. Now we're seeing more from Mikal Bridges. We're seeing more grittiness from Jordan Clarkson. And we are seeing some improved defense from the captain, Jalen Brunson. In my opinion, he is having a better defensive start to the season. Let us know your thoughts on the captain's defense, guys. Jose, yeah, I agree. On point. Kolek tomorrow could be a good opportunity to see Dardier, Kolek, whichever way you would like to go. More Yabu, Trey Jemison. I do think it's going to be a game where Wizards play a big rotation, and they will get up and down real quick. We've seen that in the preseason as well. Now, maybe if I'm trying to manage these guys' minutes, Cat tomorrow, maybe less, Hart less. We don't know if Mitch is going to play tomorrow. Let me pull up some of the quotes from post game, and we'll see if Mike Brown's spoken of Mitchell Robinson's chances tomorrow. But I do think it's probably a good chance that Mitch might play less tomorrow, or might not even play at all. You know. So yeah, we do have a lot of people speaking about the rotation from Mike Brown, keeping it at last season's rotation plus Jordan Clarkson is the recipe for success. Now, great quote from Mike Brown here from Christian Winfield, Daily News, says Mike Brown says Mikal is ahead of the curve with learning the new offense because he was in camp early with the young guys. Bridges tied a career-high 9 assists tonight against the Bulls, and Brown seems eager for the rest of the team to catch up with Mikal's understanding, right? So, man, interesting quotes, and I like it. Mikal Bridges definitely been one of the best Knicks this season, but you're seeing more of a buy-in, not just about his play, it's about the level of leadership and buy-in from Mikal Bridges, man. He was chirping at OG Anunoby, at his teammates for not getting back in transition. So yeah, Mike Brown is eager for the rest of the guys to catch up with Bridges' understanding. Who do y'all think that might be? I do think one of them's got to be Karl Anthony Towns. But I do also think that, Cat's a guy that you can just plug and play, super well, And yeah, Westchester is going to be key. Also, on Yuri's point, I do want to see a lot of these young guys when they're not playing minutes with the big club. We do have to get them going in Westchester. Kolek, McCullough, Dardier, Diawara, Trey Jemison, Huck Porty. I mean, man, Westchester can field the whole Knicks rotation, basically. And I think that's going to be very, very key for their development. You need minutes, and I think you need momentum with that. Landry Shamet, I want to give him a shout out too. So let's bring up the grades, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm going to give, with the game ball, Jalen Brunson gets the savage performance tonight because I just think he came out like a savage. He said, we ain't losing this ball game. And 19 points early. He was dominant, getting to the cup, using his physicality, using his sturdy frame to take that matchup with Trey Jones and take him to the rack. He also wasn't settling as well, which I really love. The 3-point ball looks money from Brunson. So, I mean, so far, so good from Brunson's start to the season, along with Macau. Um, Outside of that, man, a lot of standouts. I thought Macau Bridges, OG, Hart, and Cat, the starters tonight, were on point and earned their money, and they all deserve a standout, a schlick performance. I thought Deuce McBride, Mitchell Robinson, and Landry Shamet were very solid, and Yabusele was silent for the most part. So, look, there is improvement in this team naturally, and I do think that the 3-point shooting is a highlight. I do think the pace is a highlight, the passing is a highlight, but obviously we can't shoot the lights out every single night. So let's see how we did tonight with the fast break points. The Knicks won fast break points, 24 points. That's big time. That lets you know that the Knicks were getting those stops and were getting easier offense. But the Knicks lost points in the paint tonight. I thought Giddy, Vucevic were a handful, but obviously Mitch only played 13 minutes. So that is the key improvement I think that we can make. Yes, Simon says, I agree with you on JB's defense. It looks like he's taken that personally. I think Mike Brown has challenged JB in the preseason in regards to, to taking those matchups more personally, on both sides. Now, post-game, Mike Brown saying this is going to be a process. We are still not where we need to be offensively, but guys are starting to understand how to space the floor. Guys are starting to understand, right? So tonight was a big way, I think, to moving in that direction. When we are getting great looks, I mean, you see how many shooters we have. I think Landry's bounce back is underrated as well. So I want to give Landry a big shout out. Obviously, Mike Brown's a big believer in Landry Shamet, and it looks like he's going to stay in that rotation, regardless of how he shoots. They like his two-way play, and we do need to continue production off the bench. The 3-point ball from Hart, Johnny Chiba, I do think, Hart's corner threes are the best look that he can get. But yeah, he's still, not a great shooter at all from downtown. But if you can get 1 of 3, 1 of 4 from downtown, it is always a good thing to see. But I think the ball will find him eventually because the ball's just moving so much and he has to either drive and kick, make a play, make something happen. And speaking of making a play, I do really like that Jordan Clarkson was keeping his head up in this one. No tunnel vision in this one. With the hop step, you could kind of see that Clarkson wasn't even looking to score in this bucket. Maybe it had something to do with the rim presence. But the fact that Clarkson kept his head up and found the shooter, that's excellent from Clarkson. So, Clarkson's standout performance from tonight. And if he can play like this on a regular basis, man, we're in business with our bench production together with Hart and the others. Man. And then, there will be nights where Kolek might need to step in. And I can't wait to see if Yabu can start clicking as well. Michael Drake says, CT, I miss IQ on the Knicks. Quickly on this team would be impactful. That's what we're searching for, fam. A guy that can, lock down that role on a regular basis and be consistent and just come in an instant offense. But I do think that Jordan Clarkson can fill that role for the most part. No, he's not Emmanuel Quickly. He's a lot older. But I think for what we're paying him, together with some of our other guys, I think we're onto something, fam, with the 9-man rotation right now. He was just bringing that energy, right? He was bringing that energy. And I do think Clarkson's going to be a fan favorite, right? If he plays like this at Madison Square Garden. Another good play from Clarkson here. So he brings it out. He recognizes the matchup, right? So I think he's the difference between Clarkson and Cam Payne, right? They're very similar, but the difference is the game is slowed down for a guy like Clarkson. With Cam Payne, he would play at 110 miles per hour, and he wouldn't have another gear. It was 110 miles per hour or nothing. With Clarkson here, you see a little bit more of a point guard trait, right? Brings the ball back out, recognizes he's hot, and he's got the big man, and he hits the step back, right? So that's one key difference I'm noticing, fam, is the game is slower for Jordan Clarkson. I think that is going to help us get, you know, some good looks, um, you know, and also get the defense bending, right? You want to break the defense, essentially. You don't want to bail the defense out with taking a forced shot like Payne would do occasionally. Um, Now, some quotes on the rotation from Mike Brown. Uh, Mike Brown says, I got to do a better job, and I thought I did tonight, of trying to have a rotation and stick with it while still playing 9.5 to 10 guys. So that's Mike Brown on managing the bench and making his players feel comfortable, right? Courtesy of SNY at the post-game press conference. So Mike Brown taking accountability so far and trying to get that 9.5, 10 guys comfortable and set on that rotation. Now, it does appear that Huck Porty is having a seat right now. He's not in that rotation. It does appear that Kolek now might be out of that rotation. Obviously, when Hart and Mitch come back healthy, as they have, that has changed the rotation slightly from earlier in the season. Shamet, they want to continue to get him in there. So that is the 10 man tonight. And look, I like it. I wouldn't be surprised if they shrink Yabusele's minutes altogether. Just for for the early part of the season, let him heal up from the knee sprain, let him trim down a little bit. And I do think he'll get going at some point this season. But yeah, I think Kolek got a good chance. He kind of didn't take that chance early. Had some moments where he looked solid, but also had moments where he just looked like he wasn't quite ready. I think against some physical, matchups. So I think so far so good. I think we're moving in that right direction now, fam. We are starting to see the light. I think when it comes to, getting guys comfortable in this rotation. And keeping it at a 9.5 to 10. Look, health is going to be a major key because, tomorrow it might be an interruption if Mitch can't play. How is Hart going to feel on the second of a back-to-back, against, a physical Washington team after a big physical game tonight? So we do got to see how guys can pull up tomorrow. But like I said, what we're getting now with Mike Brown, man, I take that all day over last season's rotations, because tomorrow we're really going to see how good Brunson can look. 32 minutes tonight, excellent performance, and the minutes were down. OG Anunoby minutes were down as well. So it is going to be a bit of push and pull in terms of trying to win as many games as you can without sacrificing the next game. You know what I mean? Yuri says, I think Michi 25 per game. That would be a good sweet spot. Not going to lie. I think you're right. I think 25 is good. 12 minutes a half. Half a quarter each. I think that's great. The key is what's going to happen when Mitch is not on the floor, and who do we turn to? Does Trey Jemison get a chance? Does Cat hold the center spot down? Does OG take that matchup if Cat's struggling and guard some fives? Look, Cat. The main thing that worries me about Cat is basically the foul tendencies and slow closing out on the 3-point shooters. Let's not forget Jalen Smith, right? Chicago's best moments tonight was when Jalen Smith was getting loose from downtown, and he was, getting the threes up with plenty of separation, while Cat was just too slow closing out. So that is my worry when Mitch ain't on the floor. Um, I think that's one of our problems we got to solve. We do have to solve that problem. Um, you know, we just got to live with it in regards with Cat playing the 5 spot, fam. um, but yeah, with that said, I think having a versatile guy like OG is so key. David says we do need to develop Huck. Yeah, I mean Westchester, um, sporadic minutes with the big club. We do just have to find a way to get him minutes, fam, and keep it rolling. Yuri says also finally we need Cat pick and roll with Brunson, and we got some of that more tonight. Yep, I really like Brunson's start to the season. I mean, it's been quite. I think he's been the guy that has to adjust the most. And I think Brunson, has managed to keep his points production up, but also being quicker and getting the ball moving. So I do think that criticism from last season was just, of Brunson and Tibbs, right? Because so far they've proven that it's possible, right? It's possible for Brunson to be outstanding, and it's possible for him to also make the ball move, As we hit a milestone tonight and we shout that out, Jalen Brunson, 9,000 career points for the captain. Salute with his 31 points tonight. Jalen Brunson becomes a New York Knick to hit 9,000 career points. That is absolutely huge, and still in the prime of his career. Hopefully another 9,000 to come. Jalen Brunson, congrats, captain. You love to see it, and the work is not done yet, man. Bring us home that chip. Bring it home, baby. And this is the season where I think we can have our best chance. Keep him fresh for the postseason. Keep him healthy. Get other guys going as well. And I do think we're going to hit the playoffs in an ideal position, with guys ready to go. Yuri says Cat was jamming on that ish, and he looks healthy to me. You know what? He has started to look more healthy the last 2 games. I think the first 3 games, Cat didn't quite look as healthy as I would like, but he does look more healthy after these last 2. Look, speaking of healthy, Jay Hart spinning to that rack. Mikal Bridges playmaking as well, 9 dimes. I mean, that deserves a huge shout out. Does Mikal Bridges, 9 assists. Michael says 10 guys CT must play consistent defense. Great point, Michael. I said last game that no matter who coaches, no matter who you play, some matchups are just tricky. And Chicago's got length, they've got size, and they really bullied us in the last game. But what we needed to do tonight was to keep them in front of us, stop the dribble drive penetration. And I think that was the key to tonight. Keeping guys in front and basically taking pride in your matchup, right? And I think Brunson definitely set the tone early. But look, I do think they're probably just waiting to get back to New York City, after that road trip. And now we can really get going with the home stand coming up, right? So I said last show, right? I said Chicago, Washington, Minnesota, right? Just win 2 out of that 3. We've got 1 of them now. Hopefully we can win tomorrow, and then hopefully we can have a chance to go on a 3-game win streak when we have to play Minnesota. But you just have to win 2 out of the next 3, get to 4-4. And then you've got Brooklyn, you got Memphis, Orlando, Miami, where you can really get some separation. Now, as I bring up the standings, ladies and gentlemen, we look at the scores from tonight, and we continue to shout you guys out and relive the Knicks' 3rd win of the season hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you are new. And it's great to have you on board. It's great to have you with us for the season. And we're definitely going to ride and die with the New York Knicks in this one on the quest for that championship. Um, we had the Thunder, no surprise, get the big win. The Raptors, though, I think they're starting to get some momentum as they can stay healthy. The Cavs, I mentioned Trae Young. I do think Trae Young being out for 4 weeks is really going to hurt the Hawks. So we'll take a look at where they sit in the standings. Sixers have been a solid start too. The Hornets got the big win. Right now, the Suns got a big win over the Spurs, so that was a surprise. Wow, did Wemby play? Yeah, Wemby played 34 minutes, only 9 points. So I think Wembanyama still has to figure out how to stay locked in for a whole season and dominate. He's still super young. But if I pull up the standings, the New York Knicks climb up to 7 right after the Cleveland Cavaliers at 3-3. So let's see where we are tomorrow. Right, we need to get the win. Tomorrow's going to be a really important game, I think, to get above 500 heading into Minnesota. But the Heat, 3-2, so similar record. Pistons, Bucks at 4-2. We gave Chicago their first loss of the season, man. May many come after that one. And the Sixers are, after a 5-1 start, are on a 1-game win streak, or a 2-game win streak, I think, after tonight. So look, it's early days. I mean, couple wins here, a couple of losses for some other teams, and you're back up to the top spot. So I mean, there was some overreactions, heading into tonight's game. Now, justifiably, you don't want to be on a 3-game losing streak, but we are still so early in the season, guys, where there's no need to worry about falling behind and things like that. As long as everyone's healthy, we will put together a massive run, I think, and beat a lot of these teams the way we're playing. Like the Hawks, I think we'd beat the Hawks based on tonight. The Raptors, the Knicks should probably beat. The Cleveland Cavaliers, we beat. The Heat, we played tough on the road, but we should have won. Pistons, we have yet to play them this season, but we'll wait and see. The Bucks game was the one I think we let slip. Giannis just played at a god level in that game, and I think we had no answer for the Bucks in that game for Giannis. But the Bulls, we beat now. We're 1-1 against the Bulls. Split the season series, and the Sixers, who we haven't played yet. So we're coming, man. We're coming for that top spot. Let's see if the Sixers and the Bulls can keep it up. Couple of great comments here. Optimus says the Hawks are sus. Most definitely. I'll throw the Magic in there as well, fam, who are all the way down in 10 at 3-4 as well. Pacers at 1-5. Celtics at 3-4. Those guys are 12 and 13 in the standings. Michael Drake says OKC looks great. As I turn over to the Western Conference, yeah, the Spurs look pretty good as well. I know they lost today. The Blazers, no distractions there with the Chauncey Billups situation, but they're off to a great start. The Lakers 4-2. That's surprising to me, but Luke has been playing great. Chris says Brunson's averaging 1.2 steals a game this season. Yep. Absolutely great to see, Chris. Great comment. Jose says, when the Knicks bring that energy, it's a 99% win. You already know. I do think the chemistry is still there with our guys from last season, but we're starting to work in some new demons as well, with Clarkson really, finding a home now and coming to play. He was the difference for me in this one off the bench. Yeah, Orlando, surprise, man. The shooting just still is sus. I know they addressed that with Desmond Bain, but you need more than one shooter for him. Paolo Banchero, he's been regressing for 2 seasons now. Very, very talented player. But I do think that, he's regressed so far. So yeah, we get at it tomorrow, and I'm really looking forward to seeing how we respond after a big win today, right? Do we put our foot on the gas, right? And just capitalize on this homestand? Now, we've got a feel-good bounce-back win. Let's get it tomorrow night, ladies and gentlemen. You guys have been on point tonight. Appreciate your comments. And shout out to Yuri for the super chat contribution. Keeping the streets buzzing. We've seen the Bulls twice now. Physical length team, but we were too much for them tonight. I think our effort defensively was a lot higher. We need to keep that up. I think the movement, the player movement and ball movement was good. Getting stops and getting out in transition. I thought Cat was a lot more disciplined, which is key to his game. I think if Cat's in foul trouble, you kind of know it's going to be a long night. But if Cat stays disciplined and gets more healthy, along with Mitch, as Brunson, you see, get another steal, transition to Villanova, Bud, Macau pulling up from downtown. That was great to see. Cat with the big block too. So we played as the more cohesive team tonight. We wanted it more than the Bulls. We have to play like this every night. You can't take this league for granted, right? There are some lesser talented teams that can beat you. The hunger and the desire has to be there, and the chemistry will come as that continues to grow with this squad. Good rotation here from Landry and OG. That was my play of the game, with OG Anunoby bullying Trey Jones to that one in transition. So appreciate everyone. Big up. Have a great night, and we'll see you tomorrow. Peace.